I've never loved anybody like I loved Wilmer. And like I still love Wilmer.
Welcome back to the RealFemSapien YouTube channel, where I give cultural commentary. And today's cultural commentary is going to be on the Demi Lovato Wilmer Valderrama controversy, because quite honestly, I think it's much ado about nothing. Why do I think that? I have been a love addict for a long time, which basically means that you are a fan of Demi Lovato. Since I was 15, I watched her go from Disney into Hollywood and become inevitably the woman that she is now, which likely indicates that Hollywood chewed her up and spit her out, much like Lindsay Lohan, Selena Gomez, Miley Cyrus. Granted, Selena seems to be on the okay side of things, but a lot of these women just don't turn out okay. So if you like this content, make sure you give it a big thumbs up, subscribe down below, and hit the notification bell. Let's jump into it.
When I first met Wilmer, he was 29. I met him on January 11th of 2010. And it was at a PSA shoot at his house for the 2010 census forms.
Before 1980, Latinos weren't even considered a separate ethnic group on the census form. This is an opportunity for us to assert ourselves, to define ourselves.
To be honest, I only did it because I heard it was at his house and I thought he was really cute. I didn't really care about the census forms. But when I met him and I laid eyes on him for the first time, I was in hair and makeup and he came and sat down and I was like, I love this man and I have to have him. But I was only 17. And so he was like, get away from me.
That is not the current story or narrative. This clip is from Simply Complicated. It's a documentary about Demi Lovato. It came out in 2017. She remembers the exact day that she met this man. I don't even remember the exact days that I have met men in my life. That shows a very clear romantic interest. She was 17, he was 29. However, she just said he decided to avoid me until I was of age, or at least that's what is implied. But let's be real, 17 is not that far from 18. What is the real difference in 365 days? I understand that there's a difference within the law, and I'm not here to promote age gaps. I realize that I have become the poster child for age gap relationships, but they have their own intricacies and complications that I don't think most young women are prepared to handle. But to pretend that this person is a predator when she expressed interest first and was enamored by him, I think is really disingenuous. I dated someone who was 24 when I was 17. If I was a little bit more vengeful, a little bit more angry, to cope with the rejection of being turned down by someone that I really cared for and loved, I could say that he was a predator and that he was grooming me. Would that be true? And the thing about it is that it's not just Demi coming forward and saying that she was enamored and in love with him and he was just the best thing since sliced bread. It's also within that documentary, if you guys go look, her friends and family also conclude that he was good for her. And so to me, as a fan who's been following Demi Lovato for a very long time, it kind of just looks like she fell in love, she still hung up on him, and she's been burned, and she doesn't know how to cope. A lot of people cannot cope with heartbreak, especially if you think that you could have contributed to why that relationship didn't work out. And sometimes it's things that you can't even help about yourself that are going to prevent a relationship from growing. Let's get back into the clip.
I had turned 18. We began dating. I think it was love at first sight. And I don't really believe in that, but I believe that it happened. We connected on a level that I've never connected with anybody before. He was just my rock, my everything.
Why do you think you broke up?
It had nothing to do with falling out of love. We decided together that we're just probably better as friends. I haven't seen Wilmer in over 6 months. And when he showed up at the gay pride party at Mike's, my heart ached.
Boom. Boom. You know when she did see Wilmer again? After she OD'd in 2018. After she OD'd in 2018, this man went out of his way to go see her. Does that sound like a predator to you? It doesn't sound like one to me.
It's hard enough dealing with a breakup, but you put it in the public eye and it feels violating. I do have moments where it's late at night and I'm lonely and I wonder if I made the right decision, because love is a gamble. I don't know if I'll lose him for the rest of my life.
So she's thinking about this in 2017 after the breakup. It is now 2022 and this man is still on her mind. We will review the lyrics to 29 next, because the whole thing is just shaming an older man for dating a younger woman. Granted, she came up to him first. Hollywood is a weird place. I understand that. 1729, that's odd. But then when Wilmer was 19 dating Mandy Moore and she was 15, people still had a problem with that, when really it's like more of a 4-year age gap. I don't think that people are willing to entertain the gray enough when it comes to romantic relationships. Florida gets it because they have a Romeo and Juliet law that is there for the gray area of very young people that fall in love, and what age can you consent and what does that age gap look like. We've kind of lost ourselves in these very rigid boxes. I am not in any way advocating for adults to date minors. I am simply saying that we are very quick to say that the man is a predator in that dynamic. However, when women do it, no one cares. Mary J. Blige allegedly had intercourse with a 15-year-old boy. That is a lot different than the story that we're being told about Demi and Wilmer Valderrama. Nobody cares that Mary J. Blige allegedly did what she did, and that link is going to be in the description down below. If we as a society are going to come down very hard and rigidly on these romantic boundaries, then it needs to be for men and women, not just men when they go younger and then we complain about it. I mean, Leonardo DiCaprio, everybody is upset because he continues to break up with women. It seems like they're aging out. In reality, it kind of just seems like he's playing the game, and if a female celebrity was to do that, no one would care. I'm simply trying to dissect and analyze what seems to have happened and what her story used to be, and then what her story is now. Could she have endured some trauma and she's processed it and the story is different? Yeah, maybe, but homegirl had a whole stroke and sings to aliens. She seems like, right now, a lover scorned. She seems angry. She seems upset. I've listened to a lot of her albums. Some of the most emotional songs on there, me, as the female listener, I have felt that they were about Wilmer. I could be wrong, but this is my interpretation and observation. And I've been with Disney for a long time, so back into it.
I think my heart's always with Wilmer. I think it was with Wilmer. I think that it is with Wilmer, and I think that it will be. Because you don't share 6 years with somebody and not give them a piece of your heart.
Okay, so they meet at 17. She says that nothing happened, and they ended up dating at 18. Whatever. Also, can we talk about how Kylie Jenner, like, nobody cares that she met Tyga when she was really young? Like, it just blows my mind how feminists will pick and choose the case studies that they want to use to illustrate a point. This does not seem to be like she was groomed for the entire 6 years. It sounds like she fell in love with someone that was older than her. And that's a very normal thing that happens sometimes. I don't know why people want to pretend like young women don't find older men attractive. I don't get it. It happens every day, literally every day. But I guess it makes men look bad. It makes women look like they're prey and innocent and they can't possibly be consenting. This looks like a woman in love. What do you mean? What do you mean?
And vice versa.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure that I'm not going to meet anybody that compares to him, but I'm trying to keep an open heart and an open mind when it comes to that.
I love Demi and Wilmer together, but I've seen Demi grow a lot as a person in the last year.
The spark's never faded. But there are issues that I haven't conquered yet, that I know I won't conquer if I'm relying on somebody else to take care of the loneliness.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Methinks the woman a wee bit codependent and possibly borderline. I am not judging. I'm just observing. Wilmer doesn't look like the bad guy here. Kind of seems like he was the glue that kept her together. Obviously, she imploded after this, which, yeah, you know, she was a child actor. There's going to be some hurdles that she has to get over. Let's go ahead and look at some articles about their relationship after the breakup, because it changes. And guess what? He still doesn't look bad. Wow, would you look at that? Would you look at that? Best of friends, no matter what. Demi Lovato posts a sweet photo with ex Wilmer Valderrama. Demi Lovato wants the world to know that she and her ex, Wilmer Valderrama, are still the best of friends. This is dated June 2017. Best of friends no matter what is the caption, and that was on her Instagram. Again, was he a predator or was he an older man with a younger woman and they were in love with each other and then they broke up and then she OD'd and then she lost her mind and then now she needs a pivot, and one of the easiest ways to make a pivot or to make some cash out there is to chide men. It's easy. It's simple. It's simple. Demi Lovato and Wilmer Valderrama are the friendliest of exes. On her Instagram story, Lovato, 24, shared a sweet photo of herself cuddled up to Valderrama, 37, on Saturday. She captioned the shot, "Best of friends no matter what." The post comes about a year after the former lovebirds called it quits, ending their 6-year relationship. This was an incredibly difficult decision for both of us, but we have realized more than anything that we are better as best friends. Both the stars posted on their respective Instagram accounts at the time. So Wilmer is also corroborating this story. We will always be supportive of one another. Thank you to everyone who has offered us kindness and support over the years. With only love, Wilmer and Demi. Months after announcing the split, Lovato spoke candidly about the breakup. She told Glamour last year that she leaned on Valderrama as she addressed her struggles with disordered eating, mental illness, and substance abuse throughout their relationship. It seems to me that she had too much baggage at the time that she met him for the relationship to function, because you can meet the right person at the wrong time. And I think that's one of the hardest things for anyone to cope with. How do you deal with that, knowing that you could have been probably in a beautiful relationship, that you had chemistry, but then you just didn't have the skills to make it work out? It'd be devastating for anyone, and it's certainly in her albums. I think it's healthy to be able to start over with someone else, she said. Being sick was always a part of my relationship with him. I always had something wrong with me. I needed to let go of that. And then to make matters worse for the ex-girlfriend, because I'm telling y'all, we don't like it when our exes get married. We don't like it, okay? Like, it might hurt briefly. We may even move on to get married, but that initial blow to the chest, that hit to your ego, no, we don't like it. We cry about it. You look here. In January 2020, Valderrama got engaged to Amanda Pacheco, who is 11 years younger than Valderrama. In December 2020, the couple announced they were expecting their first child. Their daughter was born on February 15th, 2021. So not only did Demi lose out on Wilmer, this man has moved on and he's become a father. So far, my research has not indicated that he is married yet, but the man done moved on. And yet still, even though she's 11 years younger than him, but they're both adults, people still are throwing shade at Wilmer for this very consensual age gap. It kind of looks like to me that he's got status and he's got looks and he's not planning on settling down with an older woman anytime soon. Some guys just don't want to. When a woman doesn't want to, it's fine. It's beautiful. Yes, queen, slay. If a man does it, there's automatically something wrong with him. Like, I think women are just trying to convince men that they have to date the women that they don't want to date so that those particular women don't end up alone. Whatever. Let's go check out the lyrics to 29. Okay, so as you can see, Demi Lovato has done the typical Hollywood pivot into satanic iconography. Yes, we were all waiting. You can see that she's on a bed that is made up like a cross, and she's in bondage gear on top of it. And the album is titled Holy F. Yeah, that's where we're at. That's where we're at. I don't think Hollywood has been kind to Demi. It's actually heartbreaking as a fan to watch this slowly occur and to understand that she wasn't just a Disney kid singer. Demi was a better singer than Selena Gomez and Miley Cyrus. A lot of people don't know that. Maybe they don't pay attention, but her and Britney Spears are the best singers to ever come out of Disney. And yet, here we are. It's 2022. Her life is ruined. She's OD'd. She's heartbroken. Now we have satanic graphics on her cover. So let's read the lyrics of 29. This first paragraph says, petal on the vine, too young to drink wine, just 5 years a bleeder, student and a teacher, far from innocent, what the F's consent, numbers told you not to, that didn't stop you. I do not know if this verse is in reference to Wilmer. I don't know. I mean, Hollywood is a very strange place where a lot of these child actors come out and say that they have been actually assaulted out there. The rest of the song seems to be about Wilmer, but mostly, again, it just sounds like she's shaming an older person because that first verse might not be about him. I don't recall when he's been a teacher to her. He could have been an acting teacher. Again, I don't know. But what I do know is your boy hasn't been canceled so far, and no other women have come out. And even Mandy Moore has come out and spoken positively of him. He did say something really frustrating and disrespectful about her on Howard Stern. However, Howard Stern often baits people into speaking disrespectfully about other people. Moving on, back to the lyrics from Demi Lovato's song 29. Finally, 29, funny just like you were at the time. Thought it was a teenage dream, just a fantasy, but was it yours or was it mine? 17, 29. It looked like her fantasy before. You know what I mean? It looked like they were in love. There was just an unusual age gap, which honestly is only unusual in 2022. And this was before the Me Too era. I'm sure, I would hope that Wilmer has learned a lesson of avoiding sketchy, hot, young women now that we are post the Me Too era. I would hope. She goes on to sing 1729. Had me in your grip. Went beautiful with all my daddy issues, and this ish continues. I see you're quite the collector. Yeah, you're 12 years her elder. Maybe now it doesn't matter, but I know effing better. Now I know effing better because I'm finally 29. Funny just like you were at the time. And then it's like, who is she talking about? Him being 12 years older then? Because it could be the current woman that he's in a relationship with, Amanda Pacheco, that he's engaged to, the mother of his child. She's 12 years younger than him. Why does that matter now? Why does it matter now? Moving on. She closes with finally 29. 17 would never cross my mind. Thought it was a teenage dream, a fantasy, but it was yours. It wasn't mine. 17, 29. To which I would say 15, 25, Mary J. Blige. What was that? Allegedly. Okay. Relax, everybody. Relax. Alrighty. So that is my take on the Demi Lovato and Wilmer Valderrama controversy. It's multifactorial. It seems like she fell in love with him when she was 17. According to her, they waited to start a relationship until she was 18. I don't know. This stuff happens in Hollywood all the time. Seems like it's okay when Kylie Jenner does it because she's a billionaire now. I don't know why it's okay when Kylie does it. But then Demi does it. She does it with Wilmer. Then this man is a scumbag and a groomer, even though 17 isn't really that far from 18. I understand that it's unorthodox these days to have that kind of an age gap, but to make this man out to be a predator when she was happily in love with him, and it looked like family members and friends thought that they were also good in a relationship, I'm just not buying it. I'm sorry, I'm not buying it. Surely, Wilmer, surely you would not do this now. I would hope that you would do this now. If you didn't learn from Demi and Lindsay Lohan and all the other crazy, young, hot Hollywood chicks, I don't know what to tell you, my guy. I do not know what to tell you. But I'm just over men being shamed for liking younger women. And then they're a predator, but then when a woman does it, nobody cares. Nobody blinks an eye. In fact, it's supported. And to me, when an older woman is with a younger man, it's because he's easier to control. I will say that sometimes when an older man is with a younger woman, and this is not all the time, it's just something that I've witnessed through observing patterns of behavior in people. Sometimes the younger woman is more mature due to trauma, and the older man is emotionally immature for lots of reasons. There are 1,000,001 reasons why people struggle to develop emotionally these days. This is pure speculation. That's just my interpretation of the dynamic and my interpretation of events. It seems like she still loves him, and that's not fun. And it's speculation, but that's what I think. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.